Eduardo Corona. In the 9th grade, he was sentenced to 6 years in juvenile prison. When the judge gave him a chance to avoid the sentence, he raised his GPA from a 1.9 to a 3.8 and got admitted into SDSU on an $80,000 scholarship. And this is Bertin Solis. Growing up, he had to stretch a bowl of rice into a week's worth of meals. But despite that, he was able to earn a Gates Millennium Scholarship worth over $300,000 into UC Santa Barbara. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, these are examples of reality changers. They are students that have overcome their unfortunate circumstances to become the first in their families to go to college. Many of them grew up in City Heights, which was once called the rotting core of America's finest city of San Diego. Now, I want to take a moment to ask all of you, how many of you have known someone who has gone to college, by a show of hands? Now, keep your hand up if you've ever known anyone who was shot or killed. Look around. These students have known more people who were shot and killed in the streets than those who have been on their path to college. In 2001, Christopher Yanov founded Reality Changers with $300 for 8th grade students and a dream of building first-generation college students. For the past 4 years, I have been involved with Reality Changers, from tutoring students to attending community service events with them, and even helping to plan events for prospective donors. But today, I want to talk about 3 reasons why Reality Changers is important to the future of education. 1, Reality Changers is a model to City Heights. 2, it is a model to the country. And 3, it is a model to us as volunteers. Before I begin, I want to take a moment and talk about how the students get involved in the program. Christopher Yanov goes to local high schools in the San Diego area and hosts assemblies where teachers would send their low-performing students. A lot of these students later tell me the only reason they really go to these assemblies is 1, because they can get out of class, and 2, because there's a random white guy that's giving out pizza and free soda. At these assemblies, Chris explains what Reality Changers is, then poses a challenge to these students to raise their GPA within a certain span of time. This moment is the most crucial for the Reality Changers students because it represents a hope and an opportunity that they can change the realities for themselves and their families. Once they get accepted into the program, we help them with SATs, ACTs, PSATs, ABCs, XYZs, and just pretty much everything in between. We give them motivational talks about how to be a positive role model, as well as study sessions with tutoring. When they get to their senior year, we help them apply for colleges and scholarships. But the reason why Reality Changers is so important to City Heights is because not only are we helping these kids try to get to college, but we're also trying to infiltrate City Heights with the idea of college. By hosting college fairs and giving out free college attire, we're trying to make City Heights into a college town. But Reality Changers is not only important to City Heights, it's also important to the country as well. One of the coolest parts about Reality Changers is the special speaker series. We've had assemblymen, high school superintendents, we've got a member of the Padres, someone who was on Survivor, and a winner of the Amazing Race. 2 of the more notable speakers were U.S. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan and former President of Mexico Vicente Fox. And having these speakers talk to the kids is not only important in trying to spread the word about Reality Changers, it's also about teaching students that education is important. If they want their parents to stop working 2 jobs, if they want to be a good role model to the siblings, if they want to change their realities, then they need to pursue a college education. And this leads to my last point. Why Reality Changers is important to us as volunteers. Because, let's face it, most of our problems are first world problems. And do you know what I say to people who have first world problems? Here's a straw. Suck it up. Because so many of these students have watched their best friend or their sibling get shot right in front of their eyes. Some of these students have lived homeless, and many of these students have had to scrub the floors until dawn for minimum wage just to help their family survive. And no one should have to live like this. My favorite part about Reality Changers is the fact that they are required to complete 50 hours of community service every year. From rock and roll marathons to soup kitchens, volunteering means a lot to me, so getting to do that with them is also meaningful as well. I know that Reality Changers is going to be important in the world because the students and the program and the expansion of the program is going to change the world. Just in City Heights, we're trying to change that into a college town. By impacting the whole country, we're turning these students into good citizens. And to us as volunteers, I myself am more appreciative and grateful of what I have because of seeing what these students go through and seeing that they're so happy to be at the program. You never would have thought what they went through because they're surrounded by such positive influences. And that in itself is inspiring. Many of these students want to become doctors, lawyers, engineers to help improve City Heights and improve the life of future generations because they know that no one should ever have to grow up the way that they did. And a lot of these students are given nicknames such as at-risk youth, inner city, low income, but truly, the one phrase I know that describes these students so well is America's finest. And at the end of each tutoring night, they are required to state the Declaration of Purpose, which reminds them and remotivates them every single week that they're at the program why they are there and why they're there to get a college education. The end of it, as they all say, goes, tough times never last, but tough people always do. That's why others choose to accept the reality, but we choose to transform it. We show up, work hard, and tell the truth. We are the reality changers, agents of change. Mr. President.